You ever notice how some days don't even feel like your day anymore? Like, you open your phone, see somebody making money, somebody in a relationship, somebody partying, somebody getting in shape, and suddenly your brain starts moving before you even chose a direction. That's the scary part. Most social pressure doesn't feel like pressure. It feels like your own thoughts. And that's why people don't realize they're being controlled by it. You think you decided to grind harder. You think you suddenly want a relationship. You think you randomly feel behind in life. But half the time, your environment planted the emotion first. That's why somebody can feel confident alone, then insecure 30 seconds after opening social media. Nothing in their real life changed. Only the comparison did. And the craziest part, most people aren't even copying actions anymore. They're copying emotional reactions. One person posts success, now everybody feels late. One person posts a relationship, now everybody feels lonely. One person posts discipline, now everybody feels guilty for resting. People absorb emotions from other people all day without realizing it. That's why social pressure feels invisible, but constant. Because nobody's standing in front of you saying, be like them. Your brain just quietly starts adjusting itself to whatever gets rewarded around you. That's how humans survived for thousands of years. Fit in, copy the tribe, avoid rejection. Your brain still treats social acceptance like survival, which explains why people will literally change their personality depending on who they're around. And honestly, some people don't even know who they are anymore outside of other people's expectations. You can see it everywhere. People laughing at jokes they don't even find funny. People buying things they don't even care about. People forcing lifestyles they secretly hate just because it looks respected online. Even confidence is becoming performative. Some people don't want peace. They want proof that other people think they're winning. That's a dangerous way to live, because eventually your whole identity becomes audience controlled. And once that happens, silence feels uncomfortable. Being alone feels uncomfortable. Not posting feels uncomfortable. Not being validated feels uncomfortable, because your brain got trained to constantly check, how am I being perceived? Not, how do I actually feel? And this is where it gets deeper. The world rewards imitation more than self-awareness. Copy the trend, copy the opinion, copy the aesthetic, copy the outrage, copy the mindset. The faster you blend in, the safer you feel socially. But the problem is, you slowly lose your real thoughts underneath all the adaptation. That's why so many people feel mentally exhausted now. Not because they're doing too much physically, because psychologically, they're performing all day. Different personality for different people. Different opinions depending on the room. Different versions of themselves depending on what gets approval. That drains people more than they realize. And the worst part? A lot of people think anxiety is something wrong with them, when sometimes it's just what happens when your brain never gets a break from social evaluation. You were never supposed to compare yourself to thousands of people every single day. Humans weren't built for permanent audience exposure. That's why even after scrolling for an hour, people somehow feel emptier instead of fuller. Your brain consumes stimulation, but not connection. Attention, but not meaning. And honestly, I think that's why so many people secretly feel lost right now. Not because they're weak, because they've spent years adapting to everybody else before understanding themselves. And maybe the real flex now is being able to hear your own thoughts again without the world interrupting them every 5 seconds. Because if you never separate your real voice from social pressure, you might spend your whole life chasing things you never actually wanted. And that's terrifying.